G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to Kingdom Come Deliverance with Mags, and welcome back to Talmberg. So, Sigismund's army has just moved on, and we have ourselves a new quest. We've got to get back to Skalitz to bury our parents. Alright, so with the gate guard, best to be up front.
I need to get out of here.
And I need a feather bed with a comely wench in it. But it looks like we'll both be disappointed. Sir Divish gave orders not to open the gate, and you especially are not to be let out.
So word has preceded me.
My mother and father were left in Skalitz like carrion. I have to bury them. I can't leave them to the dogs.
I'm sorry, my friend, but I can't. You'll have to persuade Sir Robard, or think something up so I don't end up in the shit for it. Otherwise, forget it.
Now, this is a really odd question here. You can actually ask how you need to escape, if you want to.
What am I supposed to think up?
How should I know? Maybe some disguise so I could say I didn't recognize you? If a Talmberg soldier turns up all kitted out properly, in armor and a helmet, then of course I let him go. That's obvious.
All right, I'll have a look around for something.
Henry is not the brightest spark. So, after having spoken to the guard, we're going to head down to have a quick chat to the local merchant, because there's something I need.
Jesus Christ be praised.
So, to do any trading, I'm going to need a little bit of money. So, the only thing of value that I really have that is going to be able to cover what I need is the schnapps, which you use to save games. So I'm selling one of those, and that gives me just enough gold to be able to buy myself a lockpick. Now, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done this one. There is actually another way to be able to buy the lockpick without having to sell anything, which I only realised later, but it got me out of trouble, and I do need that lockpick. So, with that being done here, what we actually need to do is find ourselves a full suit of Talmberg armor, some supplies for the trip, some weapons, although we do have a sword at the moment, always good to have a second one, a bow and some arrows would be nice to go with it, and we need to get ourselves a horse. However, before we start any of that, some rest wouldn't be a bad idea. We didn't exactly get a huge amount of sleep, and making sure you are actually rested is rather important in game. So picking up a couple of hours quickly isn't a bad idea. It's early morning at the moment, and then we can spend the rest of the day getting everything we need. Our first stop, if you're planning any trip or journey in Kingdom Come Deliverance, make sure you get some supplies. This isn't necessarily required for this particular quest, but it is a reasonably good habit to get yourself into. Next up, into the keep itself, to find Lady Stephanie, because, well, she did seem reasonably interested in us, so maybe we can work out some assistance here.
Can I help you with anything?
Why yes, my lady, you can help me escape.
I would like to ask your assistance, my lady, if I may be so bold.
What's the matter, lad?
I need to get out of the castle, and your husband is keeping me here by force.
Why, for the love of God, would you want to leave the castle?
Well, there's this lonely, horny noblewoman who entered my room in the middle of the night that could have potentially gotten me killed if she'd been discovered. And my parents, of course.
My parents are lying in the mud of Skalitz at the mercy of dogs and jackdaws. I can't just leave them there.
That's terrible. May the Lord have mercy on their souls. But how can I help you, Henry? I don't want your death on my conscience.
If I could just get past the guard at the gate somehow.
But you can. If you wear a proper suit of armor, and if he can't see your face, he won't recognize you and he'll let you go.
Good thinking.
So exactly what the guard said at the front gate. I've kind of already worked that one out, lady.
And where can I get the armor?
At the armory?
You're an idiot, Henry.
Where's that?
In the gate tower. But the soldiers sleep in other places around the castle too, and you might find armor nearby.
Okay.
It's rather embarrassing, but if I'm to pay a bribe, I need money, and unfortunately, I don't have any.
How would you? Don't worry your head about it. This should be enough.
Thank you, my lady. I will repay you, I swear.
I am sure you will at some point, Henry. I am sure you
I'll
will.
certainly ask where I'm going.
You could tell them Sir Robard sent you to Ujitz to ask the parish priest how the folk there are faring.
That sounds reasonable.
That's actually a really good piece of information on the off chance that you need to use it.
Thank you, my lady. I must go now.
God bless.
Alright, so we have 25 extra coin in our pocket. We have had it confirmed twice that if we can find a complete set of guard armor, we will be able to escape out of the gate. And we managed to confirm that amazingly, such armor is kept in, shockingly, the Armory. Now the Armory itself is actually pretty easy to get to. It's straight up the stairs and to the right. But the catch with the Armory is, it is occasionally checked. So you have to time your small entrance in between the guards' patrols. The Armory space itself is considered private property or a private area, and you are not allowed in there. The guards will arrest you if they find you inside. So the guard outside that is currently at the edge of the keep is not coming this way, and the room has just been checked, so we get a little bit of lockpicking training. Now, it did take me a second to find the right spot here. Opening the lock is actually fairly simple. You find the right spot, hold the mouse cursor there, and then just rotate the lock. More difficult locks simply have less tolerance to moving the pick out of the right position. And there's the armor. And I accidentally hit escape to bring up the menu as well, but that's fine. So, next up, we need to grab ourselves a shield. And we've checked the crates around here. We will find arrows and weapons and all sorts of stuff inside of them. But remember, this room will be checked. Now, thankfully, we're not stuck with an entrance only from one side, or maybe unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it. The Armory at Talmberg is 3 levels high. This, where we're going now, is the basement level, which is your base level storage. There's also some very hard chests in here that we cannot access with our current skill level. It does have a number of barrels that can be raided, but that's really it. But the catch for this room is that it is a one-way room. The only way out is back up that ladder, and the room above us is patrolled regularly, and occasionally those patrols will come down here. Now, the top floor above the room we entered in, it has a second entrance, so it has a back door out. But it leads onto the other side of the wall around the keep, and guards will regularly come in to check the room from this end as well. Sneaking around down in here, you need to be constantly listening for the sound of boot falls, as it's pretty much the only indication you're going to have that somebody is about to come and examine the room. Of course, hearing those boot falls clearly becomes significantly harder when it's pissing down rain. And we were so close to getting busted then. Anyways, the Armory at the upstairs of the gatehouse is where we will acquire our first bow, or bows. There's actually 2 of them up here that seem to be always up here, as well as a number more arrows to make sure we have them available, and if you get particularly lucky, you might get your hands on the needle sword. The needle requires a higher level to use, but it is a pretty good sword nonetheless. So at this point we actually have all the supplies we need, so we can just casually slip out this exit. Nobody appears to be around here at the moment, and it's time to gear ourselves up in our ill-gotten goods for our new disguise. Now, the Talmberg armor set, as far as I can tell, isn't actually a complete set of armor. There are slots that are missing, or rather not filled, but there is enough there to work as the disguise, and it is a reasonably good protection set for the rest of our journey. Now, for how important and valuable horses are, you would think horses would be the most difficult part of this quest to actually complete, but as it turns out, the horse you stole from Sigismund's army at the start of the game is considered to be yours, so you don't even need to steal one. You just mount your own horse and ride out. Now, I know the graphics here are significantly better, but the horse riding around like this, in the rain, through these kind of areas, did anyone play the Elder Scrolls Daggerfall back in the day? I was getting some real Daggerfall deja vu during the entirety of this. But anyways, here is our gate guard. Now, I did try and speak to him from the horse. Unfortunately, the game won't let you. You've got to hop down off the horse. So let's see if he's impressed enough with our disguise.
Jesus Christ be praised.
I need to get out of here.
Then I'm afraid you're out of luck. Ah, I see. All right then. Breathe a word about it.
You know, when you think about it, he could have just let you pass and just told everybody that you dressed up in the armor, because in the long run, it probably wouldn't matter, but hey. Now, there is another way. It was actually the way I first escape from this town to actually get out, and it's actually ridiculously easy. You don't need the armor or to complete any quest. If you go to the drawbridge between the keep and the town, you can just step off the side and then walk down the mountain and just leave. There's nothing to actually stop you from just walking out. The quest itself is really nothing more than getting you a set of armor in order to survive and making you work to get access to your horse. I should also say here that the way they've designed the map and the fog of war for the map is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love looking at this map. But anyways, we are heading up towards Skalitz. There is a little bit of a ride involved, but in the end, we'll finally get to say goodbye to Mum and Dad.
You'll have to wait for me here, friend. Better to keep going on my own. It's like they've already gone.
Now, at this point, we've only been gone from Skalitz for about a day, so the bodies here are probably not decomposing, but what it does look like they have tried to do is stack all the bodies up in this area, which was the old church and graveyard, to burn them. Now, we're presented with a couple of options on where to go here. The only path we can really take is the path north. The path south leads down and away into the rivers, into an area of the map that we have yet to discover. But we still have two paths we can take, one that immediately crosses the river and one that runs parallel to the river and crosses a little bit further up. And we encounter our first live person. Now, the area's been raided and Sigismund's army has moved on, but the area is going to be full of looters and thieves.
What's the matter? Come on!
Try and get the blocking on the shield. Oh, and that was right across the collarbone. That should have taken him down right there. Now, my stamina's not overly high at the moment because I'm such a low level. Take it on the shield again. And that was the final blow of this.
I yield! You hear me? I surrender!
Now, for how poorly this guy fought, he's likely a villager that survived or a local farmer that saw everything happen. He's coming in trying to get what he can in order to survive. I can't let him go with his weapon.
I'll let you go, but the weapon stays here.
I agree.
He sounded so menacing saying that. Yeah, I can let him go unarmed. And we have a Seax, or a Sax, or a Sex, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Basically, it's a big knife. Now, while I absolutely cannot abide looters looting the corpses, because that's just completely distasteful, that doesn't mean I'm not going to loot the corpses. Alright, so this is the river crossing, as small as a river or a creek as it actually is. Kind of a morbid homecoming. everything got taken out. It wasn't just Skalitz. The nearby town and all the farmland in between was attacked in some way, shape or form. Either the farmers' houses were burned down or parts of their fields were attacked. And bandages is probably worth grabbing. So, the people here are, well, the people that were trying to escape from Skalitz and run to Rovna as we were running out. The people that were working and tending to the fields, trying to make their escape. And they were run down by Sigismund's army and just left here. Which puts a bit of a question on the opening scene for this area at the churchyard, where the bodies had been gathered up and burned. If Sigismund's army was willing to do that, why did they leave all the bodies out here? And I don't actually think they did. With the walls of Skalitz breached, and the keep under siege, the safest place to go and the common gathering place in the case of such raids in this time period would have been the church. It's likely the survivors that managed to escape Skalitz or escape the fields here went to the church in Rovna looking for shelter, and the people of Rovna would have gathered up in the church as well.
Sweet Jesus. It's the charcoal burn.
I don't think I'm going to be able to haggle a deal with him this time, but it is always nice to encounter somebody you know. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem to have the gold that I spent on the coal last time, so not going to be able to reclaim it. Anyways, it's likely that the people of Rovna and those who managed to escape the fields gathered themselves at the church and were trying to get inside in order to seek shelter, and Sigismund's army then would have set fire to the church and slaughtered anybody who attempted to escape.
Hey, who's there?
And we have another looter. Now I'm trying to approach them slowly to see whether or not they'll play nice or go to weapons. Should have played nice. And a new level in sword.
You're dead.
And clearly I'm getting better at that. I just straight up killed him. Quick check around just to make sure nobody else is coming. Now his axe just looks like a woodcutter's axe, which isn't particularly interesting to me. But I do want to get rid of these soldiers' clothes at some point. And he has some interesting armour that is much better than parts of mine. So, freshly equipped with some nice new armour and a slightly higher armour value, it's up to the Skalitz main gate.
The wrong place at the wrong time.
And yet another looter.
God.
Well, that was easy. Took him down like a boss, then go for the killing blow, and he just runs away. But at least he left the gold behind. And welcome back to Skalitz. Indeed the bailiff did. Died with a sword in his hand, and I will collect that one.
You stood by his side and he did this to you. In the end, you were here. You didn't run away.
And that would be our grand defender of Sigismund, who we tossed shit at his house.
Why? Not you. It wasn't supposed to be you, Bianca. I'll find the bastards that did this to you. I'll find them. I swear it. Just wait, Ollie. I'll take care of my parents, and then I'll come back for you. I won't leave you there.
Also, sorry for missing our date last night. I was having some wine with another woman.
Take this as a keepsake to remember by. Okay.
Yeah, sorry Henry, but I really have trouble believing the whole my dearest part here, considering this is pretty much the first time you've mentioned Bianca in this entire thing. She should have been up somewhere near your parents if you were really that concerned. So, having looted the town blind...
Why did you do it to me, Father? Why? Why did you leave me?
You selfish cunt, Henry. I'm sure he totally planned this, just to spite you.
Forgive me.
Nah, get fucked. That was just being a dick.
Forgive me for everything. Next time I won't run.
He told you to run, you idiot.
I'll never run away again. I'll find the one who did this to you. I remember his face. I'll find him. But first, I have to find the shovel and take care of you. I remember you told me you wanted to lie beside Mother. Here. Under the linden tree. At least I can do that much for you.
Alright, so Mum and Dad were exactly where we left them. Now we have to go and find ourselves a spade. But before we do that, we seem to have a dog barking somewhere in the background, and dogs rarely bark at nothing, so we should probably go and investigate. Now at this point, the last couple of encounters with the person that I had did not wind up going well, so sword and shield out this time. Although, it probably helps if I go up the right alleyway, although I was close, I was only one short.
Get away, you mutt! Get away, you beast!
What's going on? Bishak? What in God's name are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing? Digging turnips? The beast just went for me.
Isn't that Mutt the butcher's? Mutt? Isn't that body the butcher's?
Yeah, that's him. What's that got to do with anything?
Zib here is one of Hans's mates. We bet Zib and Hans up after throwing shit at the house a couple of episodes back. Now, Zib does have a spade, so we should be relatively upfront with him.
I'd say the poor creature is standing guard over his master. You weren't trying to get to him, were you?
What do you care what I'm doing here? What are you doing?
Now, for speaking to me like that, I want to ram my sword up his ass, but I should probably be diplomatic.
I'm going to bury my parents.
So bury them and leave me be.
No, I would, but you may have some info on what happened, and you have the
Do
spade.
you know what happened to Teresa from the men? When I fled, the humans wanted... They meant to violate her. God knows what else.
No, I don't know. What do I care? They probably raped her and killed her like all the others. Her misfortune. Right now, I've got to take care of myself.
You're a bit of an asshole too.
How did you manage to get away?
How do you think I ran?
Which is fair enough. Anyways, you have a spade.
Would you lend me that spade? I have to dig a grave, and I can't find another.
What's it worth to you? I see you have a fine sword. I'll gladly trade you my spade for that. How did you come by it anyway?
Yeah, like I'm going to agree to that. You're just being a dick now.
Fine. I'll take the spade and you can have the sword. You can have it right up your ass.
You think you can talk that way just because you've got a sword?
Bullshit.
Absolutely.
I don't know much about
How is that a
sword
fail?
Suits
He
me.
has a shovel.
I'll
I
knock your
killed
teeth
2
in.
armed thieves on the way in. And I bet the shit out of him earlier on yesterday.
That's right! Turn tail and run, you bastard!
What an arsehole. But he did leave us the spade. Poor doggo. Oh well, time to go up and see if we can find a nice spot underneath the tree. And things aren't looking much better up here either. The entire smithy is burnt to the ground. We do get a good view of the devastation on the town from up here as well. But everything's destroyed, including our house. Still, it's worth having a wander around inside and see if there is anything that we can potentially recover to take when we leave this place. So, having checked on the house, it's time to see to the graves of our parents.
So... let's get to it. Damn it all. How am I going to do this?
Do you need some help? Is that him?
Yes. Can't you see the sword?
Who are you? What do you want? Zbyszek?
Who do you think we are? Franciscan brothers? We're here to rob you of everything you've got. Especially that fine blade that's of no use to a peasant like you anyway.
Banish the thought. It is my father's sword.
You mean him? I don't think he's going to be needing it. Listen here, boy. You hand over that sword, I might just let you go. If not, you're in for a family reunion you really don't.
Leave me alone.
Kill him, Runt! Aye, cut the bastard down. As you like. Could have just cost you a few teeth. Ah!
Now, I'd really like nothing better than to say that this is a heroic battle where I cut everybody down like an absolute hero. Unfortunately, this fight's set up so that you can't actually win, although I get a couple of good strikes in on this guy. Until this happens. Ow.
I told you how it would end. You should have listened to me. This is nice work. The Chief is going to like it. It's new, isn't it? Now, for the maiden bloodletting. Surely your father never would have imagined it would be your blood. I believe there's a word for such moments. The old man would certainly know. But I'm just a common killer. Did you help make it? No doubt you did. Such miserable luck. To die by the sword you helped forge.